I'll start the meeting by presenting this proposed ordinance, which I brought forward to council a few months ago. So anyways, I think, were you at the committee meeting? No? So this was proposed a while ago, and there were some issues that we had to work out. And one of the issues, probably the biggest issue, was that there was a court filing and ruling that a judge had made in Philadelphia against one of the sections of the ordinance that I was proposing. And I have some good news on that, which I'll be getting into in a few minutes. But anyways, this ordinance is designed to combat the widespread gender-biased wage inequalities by prohibiting employer inquiries into prospective employee wage histories, as well as employer reliance on such wage histories for determining compensation. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, women are paid 79 cents to a dollar for every dollar that a man makes, according to the United States Census Bureau in 2015 report. Women of color are paid even less. African American women are paid only 68 cents to a dollar paid to a man, and Latinas are paid only $56 or 56 cents to a dollar paid to a man. And Asian women are paid 81 cents to a dollar paid to a man. The gender wage gap has narrowed by less than 1/2 a penny per year in the United States since 1963, when the Congress passed the Equal Pay Act, which was the first law aimed at prohibiting gender-based pay discrimination. Since women are paid on average lower wages than men, basing wages upon a worker's wage at a previous job only serves to perpetuate gender wage inequalities and leave families with less money to spend on food, housing, and other essential goods and services. The premise of this ordinance is that salary offers should be based upon the specific job responsibilities of a position and not based upon an applicant's prior wage history, so as to avoid the perpetuation of gender wage inequalities. In August of 2016, Massachusetts became the first state in the United States to enact such a law, prohibiting employers from seeking or requiring a prospective employer's wage history. And I would like to update everybody on some recent news. I don't know if everybody had the chance to see this, but in a decision, this is as of February 6th, just a few weeks ago. It's great news. In a decision that could have national implications, this is out of the Philadelphia Inquirer. For the wage equity movement, a federal appeals court sided with the city of Philadelphia, saying it can ban employers from asking job applicants their salary history. And the whole process of this is that if an employer is interested in hiring, whether it's a new law firm or a new accounting office or any type of business, whether it's a new food server or a new cook or whatever the job may be, the owner and the managers of the company generally have a really great idea of how much money they want to spend on the new position prior to them even going into the hiring process. And they have a dollar amount already made in their mind. And the whole problem with this wage inequality with females and women of color is that the job interviews open up, and as a hypothetical, someone might say, we're going to spend $80,000 on a new job. We want to hire a new lawyer. We want to hire a new cook. We're going to hire $80,000 or $90,000. And they go into the process and they start doing interviews, and they ask, in years past, they ask the man, how much were you making at your old job? The guy says, well, $80,000, so we're going to give you $85,000. And because women make pennies to a dollar that the man makes for the same exact job, the woman answers her prior wage history. I was making $69,000 or $60,000. Often, the woman gets offered a job offer, but not nearly at the same dollar amount as the male. And all it does is it perpetuates the inequalities in their starting pay over the course of years. So the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit reversed the 2018 lower court decision that said the city could not ban employers from asking about salary history, but could ban them from relying on it set wages. The law has been in limbo since 2017, when the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce sued the city, claiming the ordinance violated the commercial speech rights of the employers. Proponents of the law, which included the city and women's advocates, say it would cut down on gender and race-based discrimination that contributes to the wage gap by keeping unfair salaries from snowballing through an employer's entire career. Studies suggest women on average make 80 cents to 69 cents for every dollar a man does. That gap is even higher for women of color. The 67-page unanimous opinion representing the 3-judge panel was written by Judge Theodore McKee, who wrote that while the provision does limit the employer's speech, it is, quote, only because that limitation prevents the tentacles of any past wage discrimination from attaching to an employer's subsequent salary in the future. The appeals court disagreed with U.S. District Judge Mitchell S. Goldberg, who favored it for the Chamber's argument, that the city of Philadelphia failed to provide evidence showing its law would actually tamp down on the wage gap. McKee wrote in his decision, through the city's evidence, it was very sufficient. Legislatures aren't required to provide data showing the efficacy of a proposal if it's an innovative solution that hasn't been widely implemented previously. Rue Landau, executive director of the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations, said the law, which was unanimously passed by City Council in 2017, comes amid a variety of worker protection legislation Philadelphia has implemented in recent years. This one, she said, should be held up as one that is all about equality and protecting people's civil rights. I've never understood the argument against it, she said. Former City Councilman Bill Greenlee, who championed the bill, said, quote, this is just the right thing to do despite concerns from businesses and corporations in Philadelphia. They were agreeing that there was a wage inequality, but they're saying this won't solve the problem, is what he said. And he said, quote, well, how do you know if it doesn't work if you don't try? So based on that, I had, this was actually a court decision that came down prior to or after I had scheduled this. And I have a couple other quotes that I want to read from some women's groups throughout the country. Letitia James, who authored the State of New York's law and is the city's public advocate, said the ban ensures that being underpaid once does not condemn anyone to a lifetime of inequality and equity. Give me a moment here. Mayor Jim Kenney of Philadelphia, Democratic mayor of Philadelphia, said today is a big win for Philadelphia and for equal pay for women. Asking job applicants for salary history perpetuates the wage gap that unfairly affects women and people of color in Philadelphia. I'm pleased with the court's decision to reinstate this law. I have a couple others that I will get into if there's any comments that we need to get into later, but basically what this, why the ban, why we want to implement this is lawmakers say asking about salary history continues the cycle of pay of inequality, keeping women from getting higher pay at a new job if she reveals her past salary history. And I do have some others, women's groups in here, which I will get into later.